There's a time for everything, every season, every moment, every trial, and sometimes that time calls for silence. You see, we live in a world where everyone is talking. If you're not careful, you can get lost in the noise of your own story. Today, I'm here to challenge you. Stop telling everyone what's going on in your life. There's a unique kind of power that comes from silence, a power that is often misunderstood in a world that thrives on constant noise. We live in a time where talking is easy. We post about our every thought, we share our every feeling, and we broadcast our lives to the world as if validation from others is what will make us whole. But silence is a strength that can carry us further than we realize. In a culture that values instant communication and constant connection, it's tempting to believe that we have to share everything. We want people to understand us, to know our struggles, our joys, our victories. But the truth is, some things are better left unsaid. Sometimes silence is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, discipline, and wisdom. When you choose to remain silent, you protect your energy. You guard your peace. There are battles that don't need to be fought in the public eye. Not every struggle needs to be shared for the world to see. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is hold your peace, stay calm in the storm, and trust that what's happening in private will show its worth in time. Silence doesn't mean you're hiding something. It means you're allowing space for something to grow inside of you before it ever needs to be shared. Silence gives you room to reflect. When we talk too much, we drown out the whispers of wisdom that could be guiding us. The answers we seek are not always in the noise, not always in the opinions of others, but in the stillness. Silence allows us to listen more closely to what God is trying to teach us, to what our hearts are trying to say, and to what the future is quietly unfolding. It's in the quiet moments that clarity is born. When we stop constantly narrating our lives, we start to hear things we've been missing, the subtle ways we're being shaped, the lessons we're learning, and the things we're being called to do. Silence refines us. It molds us in ways that speaking never can. In silence, we gain understanding. In silence, we find our strength. In a world filled with distractions, demands, and constant noise, guarding your peace is one of the most important, yet often overlooked acts of self-preservation you can do. We often think that peace is something external, something we can find in a place, a situation, or in the approval of others. But peace isn't found outside of us, it's found within, and it's up to us to protect it. The world around us will try to take it away, piece by piece, if we let it. Guarding your peace means learning when to set boundaries and when to step back. It means understanding that not every situation deserves your emotional investment. Not every person deserves your time or your energy. There will always be voices, whether it's the noise of social media, the criticism of others, or even the demands of your own inner doubts, that try to invade your space and disrupt your calm. But you have to be the one who stands at the door of your mind and heart, deciding what you'll allow in and what you'll keep out. It's about knowing your limits and sticking to them, not out of selfishness, but out of wisdom. The moment you give too much of yourself to the wrong places, you start to lose the very peace that allows you to stay grounded. There's a peace that comes from knowing when to say no. When you decide to preserve your peace, you free yourself from the unnecessary weight of things that do not serve your well-being or your purpose. Guarding your peace also means learning to stay centered even when everything around you seems chaotic. It's easy to let outside circumstances dictate your emotional state, but real peace is unshakable. It's rooted in something deeper than the temporary highs and lows of life. Peace comes when you understand that no external event or person has the power to steal what you've decided to protect. It's a decision to stay calm in the storm, to trust that no matter what's happening outside of you, your inner peace is anchored. And it's in that peace that you'll find the clarity to make wise decisions, to pursue your purpose with confidence, and to navigate life's challenges without losing yourself in the process. It's easy to get lost in the details of our daily lives. We get caught up in the small things, the emails, the to-do lists, the things we think we need to accomplish by the end of the day. And while these things are important, they can sometimes cloud our vision and make us lose sight of the bigger picture. It's as if we're zoomed in so closely on one small part of the canvas that we forget there's an entire masterpiece being painted before our eyes. Life is full of moments, yes, but it's the culmination of all those moments that creates the story we're living. When we focus too much on the immediate, we forget that everything we go through, every joy, every trial, every challenge has a purpose in the grander scheme of things. The details matter, but they're only part of the story. What you're going through today might be difficult, but in the context of the entire journey, it's a moment that's shaping you for something greater. The bigger picture is not just about seeing the end result, it's about understanding the process. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Success doesn't come without its seasons of struggle, and peace doesn't just show up when everything is calm. It comes after navigating storms, learning to trust, and embracing every part of the journey, even the parts that seem insignificant at the time. When we zoom out and see the bigger picture, we realize that we're not defined by just one moment, one setback, or one triumph. Each part of our life has a role to play. The difficulties you face today might seem overwhelming in the moment, but when you step back and look at them from a distance, you'll see that they were necessary for the person you're becoming. Every season, whether good or bad, is part of the larger story being woven through your life. In the same way, focusing on the bigger picture keeps you from getting stuck in the weeds of comparison. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's highlight reel. You stop measuring your progress by someone else's timeline. When you see the bigger picture, you're able to celebrate where you are, knowing that it's only a chapter in the larger narrative of your life. You learn to trust the timing of your own journey, even when it doesn't look like someone else's. Focusing on the bigger picture also helps you remember why you're doing what you're doing. It aligns your actions with your purpose. It pulls you out of the day-to-day grind and into a mindset that asks, what is this all leading to? How is this building me into the person I need to become? When you focus on the bigger picture, you don't get discouraged by small setbacks because you know they're temporary. You don't get distracted by short-term obstacles because you understand they're preparing you for long-term growth. It's all connected, the little things and the big things. But sometimes you need to step back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that the small moments are not all there is. There's a larger purpose at play, and you're a part of it. In a world that thrives on likes, shares, and followers, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from others. Every post, every achievement, every little moment can feel like it needs to be seen, commented on, or approved by someone else to feel worthy. But the truth is, seeking validation from others can be one of the most dangerous paths you can take, because it's a path that never leads to true peace, true confidence, or true fulfillment. The danger of seeking validation is that it makes your sense of worth conditional. When you rely on other people's opinions to define who you are, you're giving away your power. Your identity becomes tied to their approval, and that's a fragile place to live. People will never fully understand you. They won't always agree with you, and they certainly won't always affirm you in the way you need. But when your worth is based on what others think, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, frustration, and an endless cycle of trying to meet impossible standards. What happens when you live for the approval of others is that you stop being true to yourself. You begin to wear masks, to change who you are to fit into someone else's expectations. You alter your behavior to meet the approval of the crowd, and in doing so, you lose touch with your authentic self. You can never truly be fulfilled by external validation because you're no longer living in alignment with your own values and purpose. The moment you seek approval from others, you open the door for them to define your value. And that's a dangerous thing. Seeking validation also puts you on a never-ending treadmill. It's like trying to run a race that has no finish line. Every time you get a little bit of validation, it feels good, maybe even great. But the moment that approval fades, you find yourself wanting more. The cycle continues, and it becomes harder and harder to feel truly satisfied because the high of external affirmation is temporary. It's never enough. And the more you chase it, the more it slips through your fingers. And then there's the pressure of comparison. The more you seek validation from others, the more you measure your worth against theirs. You start to compare your life to the curated versions of other people's lives that you see on social media. You begin to feel like you're not doing enough, not achieving enough, or not living in the right way because someone else's journey looks different or more successful. The moment you step into comparison, you rob yourself of joy and gratitude for what you already have. The trap of validation is that it keeps your eyes on everyone else instead of where they need to be, on your own path. Seeking validation also leads to self-doubt. The more you rely on external feedback, the more susceptible you become to the opinions of others. A simple comment, a critical remark, or even a lack of engagement can make you question everything about yourself. You start to wonder if you're good enough, if you're doing enough, if you're valuable enough. Your confidence, your decisions, and even your happiness start to hinge on what other people say about you. And that's a dangerous game to play. In the end, seeking validation from others is a form of spiritual, emotional, and psychological slavery. It keeps you shackled to the need for approval, and in doing so, it strips away your freedom. The only validation that truly matters is the validation you find within yourself. You are worthy not because someone else tells you that you are, but because you were created with purpose and value. When you stop seeking validation from others, you begin to find freedom. You begin to live with confidence rooted in who you are, not what others say about you. And that's the kind of freedom that lasts. Joy is one of the most powerful forces we can experience. Yet it is also one of the most fragile. In a world that constantly challenges us with obstacles, disappointments, and negativity, joy can easily be overshadowed or stolen if we're not careful. It's easy to think that joy is something that comes from external circumstances, achieving goals, receiving praise, or being in a good situation. But joy is not just a feeling, it's a decision. And once you understand the power of your own joy, you must guard it with everything you have. Guarding your joy starts with recognizing its value. It's not just about finding happiness in fleeting moments or external validation. Real joy is rooted in something deeper, something that doesn't depend on what's happening around you. The world will try to take your joy through its disappointments, its failures, and its constant pull to focus on what's wrong rather than what's right. But when you recognize the importance of joy in your life, you become more protective of it. You start to see it as a treasure that no one and nothing can take away without your permission. One of the biggest threats to your joy is other people. Not everyone in your life will understand your joy or be happy for you. Sometimes the people closest to you can unknowingly steal your joy by discouraging you, criticizing you, or even projecting their own fears and doubts onto you. You have to learn to protect your joy by not allowing the opinions of others to invade your peace. Not everyone is going to celebrate your success, your growth, or your happiness, and that's okay. Their lack of celebration is not a reflection of your worth. The joy that's inside of you belongs to you, not to them. Another threat to your joy comes from comparison. The moment you start measuring your happiness against someone else's, you open the door for discontent to creep in. The world has a way of showing you what everyone else is doing, what they have and what they've achieved. If you're not careful, it can make you feel like what you have isn't enough, or that your joy is not meant to be compared. Your journey is your own, and no one else's progress should make you question your own growth. When you guard your joy, you refuse to let comparison steal the unique happiness that comes with embracing your own path. Another danger to your joy is the weight of unhealed wounds. It's hard to experience true joy when you're carrying the heavy burden of past hurts, regrets, and unresolved pain. We often think that we can just push through the tough moments and keep going, but the truth is, unaddressed pain can drain the life out of our joy. Healing is essential in protecting your joy. You can't move forward in true happiness if you're still holding on to what has hurt you in the past. Guarding your joy means giving yourself permission to heal, to let go, and to release anything that's keeping you from fully embracing the present moment. Guarding your joy also means choosing it every day. Joy is not a passive experience, it's an active choice. Even when life is difficult, even when things don't go as planned, you can choose joy. It's not always about the circumstances you find yourself in, but about how you respond to them. Life will throw challenges your way, but joy is the decision to stay grateful, to find light in the darkness, and to hold on to the good despite the bad. Every day you can choose to protect your joy by focusing on what's right, what's beautiful, and what's worth celebrating, no matter how small it may seem. Finally, guarding your joy means being intentional about what you allow into your life. You can't keep your joy intact if you're constantly consuming negativity, whether it's negative news, toxic relationships, or unproductive habits. You have to be careful about what you allow to influence your heart and mind. Guard your heart and your joy will follow. Choose to surround yourself with things that uplift you, that encourage you, and that remind you of the beauty and goodness in the world. When you're intentional about what you take in, you'll protect your ability to choose joy. In a fast-paced world that constantly demands our attention, it can be easy to overlook the importance of slowing down to reflect on our own lives. We're often so focused on the next task, the next goal, or the next step that we forget to pause and take a good, honest look at where we are and where we've been. Self-reflection is not just a practice, it's a vital process that shapes our growth, strengthens our understanding of ourselves, and connects us more deeply to our purpose. Self-reflection allows us to gain perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day whirlwind of activities and decisions. Without reflection, we might find ourselves stuck in patterns, repeating mistakes, or missing opportunities for growth. When we step back and look at our experiences, we start to see the lessons hidden in our struggles and successes. Reflection brings clarity to our vision, helping us understand why we made certain choices, why we reacted the way we did, and what those responses teach us about ourselves. It gives us the space to analyze our behavior, our emotions, and our motives so that we can make better, more intentional decisions moving forward. Self-reflection also nurtures emotional intelligence. It's not just about evaluating what you've done, but about understanding how you felt along the way. Reflection brings us in tune with our emotional state, helping us recognize our triggers, our fears, and the patterns that shape our reactions. It helps us process emotions, understand the roots of our feelings, and learn how to respond to situations in healthier, more constructive ways. When we reflect on our emotional responses, we take ownership of them rather than letting them control us. We grow emotionally, becoming more capable of managing our emotions with wisdom and empathy. It's also through self-reflection that we develop a stronger sense of self-awareness. In today's world, it's easy to lose touch with who we truly are, especially with the influence of social media, societal pressures, and the constant noise around us. Self-reflection is the process of checking in with ourselves, asking, who am I? What do I value? What do I truly want? By taking time to answer these questions, we build a deeper understanding of ourselves and strengthen our ability to live authentically. Self-awareness helps us make choices that align with our true desires and purpose rather than being swayed by external expectations. Through reflection, we also identify areas of growth. No one is perfect. We all have blind spots, weaknesses, and areas where we can improve. Self-reflection is the mirror that reveals these areas to us. It helps us see where we've fallen short and provides an opportunity for us to learn and grow. When we are willing to reflect on our shortcomings without judgment or shame, we open the door to change and progress. Self-reflection is the first step towards self-improvement because it forces us to confront what needs to be addressed, and it gives us the power to take action to become better versions of ourselves. Additionally, self-reflection nurtures gratitude. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to focus only on what's wrong or what's missing. But when we take time to reflect on the things we've achieved, the relationships we've built, and the blessings we've received, we open our hearts to gratitude. Reflection shifts our mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. We start to see the richness of our lives, the moments of joy, the small victories, and the lessons we've learned along the way. Gratitude born from reflection transforms our outlook and makes us more appreciative of the journey we're on. Self-reflection also keeps us connected to our goals and dreams. It's easy to get distracted by life's challenges or to lose sight of the big picture. Reflection allows us to check in with our vision, to assess whether we're still moving in the right direction, and to make course corrections if necessary. It's a time to remind ourselves of the why behind what we're doing. Are we still passionate about the goals we've set? Are we still aligned with our purpose? Reflection recenters us, helps us recalibrate, and ensures that we're not just going through the motions, but moving with intention towards something greater. Furthermore, self-reflection fosters a deeper connection to our spirituality, whether through prayer, meditation, or quiet contemplation. Reflection allows us to connect with something bigger than ourselves. It creates space for us to listen, to hear the whispers of inspiration and wisdom that might otherwise be drowned out by the noise of life. When we reflect on our experiences through a spiritual lens, we gain insight into how we're being shaped and how we can use our gifts and talents to make a positive impact in the world. Self-reflection is also an antidote to burnout. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to forget to check in with ourselves and assess whether we're overextending ourselves. We take on more than we can handle, and before we know it, we're exhausted, overwhelmed, and mentally drained. Reflection gives us the chance to recognize when we're stretched too thin and need to pull back. It helps us prioritize our well-being, set boundaries, and avoid reaching a point of emotional and physical exhaustion. In the end, self-reflection is not just a one-time activity, but an ongoing practice. It's a habit that we cultivate over time, and as we do, it helps us to grow, evolve, and live more intentionally. The more we engage in self-reflection, the clearer we become about who we are, where we're headed, and what truly matters. In conclusion, the journey of guarding your peace, protecting your joy, focusing on the bigger picture, and seeking self-reflection is one of continuous growth and self-discovery. These practices empower us to live with intention and authenticity, navigating the challenges of life with clarity and strength. When we stop seeking external validation, embrace silence, and make space for deep introspection, we build a foundation that allows us to thrive, not just survive. It's about choosing our inner peace, joy, and purpose over external noise, trusting that in doing so, we align ourselves with the best version of who we are